Hi, grant writing people. Welcome to week 7 in English 4321 grant writing. Coming to you from Island Hall. Actually, thought I would show you that I am actually working from the home studio, and I am being supervised by my 20-year-old cat, who guards me most of the time. This was actually supposed to be my workspace, but somehow the cat took it, so I've got to share it with him. So anyway, let's go back to Island Hall, and we'll talk about week 7. Excited stuff. We're going to begin putting the grants together this week. Next week, we're going to have completed grants, 2 completed grants ready to submit. So it's going to be a little complicated because every team is doing something different. Every group is doing something different. But if you work in your groups, you work in your teams, you'll be good. Quarterbacks, you're really going to need to communicate with your group members. Make sure you know what's going on in all the groups and that you have all the data, know what all the missing pieces are. Tengo la fe. I have the faith. I'm sure you can do it. In terms of the learning, we're going, meaning the textbook reading and activities, we're going to be learning a little bit more about capacity, meaning proving your organization has the ability to do what it says it's going to do. Very important in grants. We generally do that through organizational background. There's some reading about that. Group A has already written, drafted the organizational background. And for Tuesday, we're all going to read the organizational backgrounds that our groups A have drafted and going to make constructive suggestions so they can take them and revise them. We're also going to read about cover letters on Thursday, and group A should have already drafted a cover letter or will by Tuesday. And so you're going to read your group's cover letter or your team's cover letter, make suggestions about how to improve it, and they're going to have a final draft on that. That actual final draft of the cover letter is not due till Saturday, but that only applies to the members of Group B. Okay, and then Group C is going to be doing different stuff, finalizing the budget. So in terms of learning, we're going to be look at capacity, proving you can do what you say you're going to do, in other words, and we're going to be looking at cover letters, putting the grant together. So that's that. In terms of the grant, we're going to actually begin assembling the grant. So we're going to be doing 2 things. We're going to be actually filling out the paperwork for the grants that your teams are doing. Team Green is doing the Earl Sam's Foundation. Teams Blue is doing Bank of America. And then Team C is going to be doing the simple format grant, which I'll talk about later. So Teams Green and Blue, like I said, one's doing Sam's, one's doing Bank of America. But groups A and B are going to coordinate with a quarterback to begin assembling the data they need to fill out those forms. There are different data for different forms. The Earl Sam's is actually a web form, and you've already seen it several times, but I'm also putting it there in the readings library of Blackboard. And then Bank of America is a little bit different. Bank of America is a form that you fill out and submit like you do on the internet or things like that as well. And so what I did was I cut and pasted that entire website into a document so you can see what you look like. If you're working on the Bank of America grant, do not fill out important data on that form because it will not save. What needs to happen is your quarterback or somebody needs to make a master document, and it needs to be numbered 1 through however many questions there are in that Bank of America form. And you need to put the data in, number 1, name, number 2, address, whatever. Put that data in that numbered list. And it's saved. So when Robert gets it, he can just cut and paste. He can just, 1 goes here, 2 goes here, 3 goes here, cut that and paste that stuff directly off the document that you write into the Bank of America form as well. So, like I said, there's lots of data. It's different data for different grants. So the quarterback probably needs to communicate with the team leaders or team communicators rather, and figure out who's going to do what parts of which grant for getting the information and putting it together in a place so it can all be entered either into the form for Sam's or into the document for the numbered document for Bank of America. I know it sounds complicated, but ask questions. And if you look at the forms, you'll see what I'm talking about. Bank of America is a bunch of text fields. Some places gives you a lot of room, some places have very limited space. If you read the directions carefully, I talk about that a little bit on the Friday and Tuesday and Friday folders as well. The Earl Sam's also is a locked form, but it'll give you say, yeah, this much space, and you got to put all your data in that much space, and it won't let you change fonts or do anything the stuff that you did as undergraduates to make stuff fit or make it larger, or maybe back in high school. You're probably too far along to be playing with font size at this point. So, in other words, teams A and B, groups A and B for both blue and green team are going to be filling out the forms for the SAMs and the Bank of America grant. Team C is going to be assembling the simple format grant, which we've looked at several of those. Basically, it's a grant that's all assembled in one document as well. It's good to show people in your professional portfolio. Hey, have you ever done a grant? Well, yeah, here's an example of that. You can show it out and have that on your website or something like that. And Team C is going to put that together. It's going to take all the work that you've written already and is going to put it into format with cover letter, then each part of the grant, budget at the very end, and supporting material. You're each going to get a copy of that. And then, so by Friday or Saturday, in the case of TB, should have finalized pretty much everything. Should have finalized your organizational background, finalized the cover letter, finalized the budget, which Group C is going to be doing, and then begin assembling the actual parts of the grant. And throughout the rest of the next week, you're going to be filling out the paperwork for SAMs, filling out the paperwork for Bank of America, formatting the simple format grant. Remember, you also have a portfolio due, and you've got to include the work that you've done. You've got to include the simple format grant, and everybody's going to get a copy of that. You need to have a reflection on what you've learned doing this, and you need an evaluation talking about who did what, who contributed what to your team's grant writing efforts as well. And that's due next Friday as well. So the end's almost in sight, which is amazing to me that y'all have gotten the funders so quickly than most people do. You've been keeping on top of the work. Very few people aren't pulling their weight. I'm very proud of that. And by next Friday, you will have completed a grant that will be submitted. We'll be grant writers. You might be inexperienced. You might not feel ready to start writing a grant on your own, but you will be. And then the second half of the semester, you're going to write a grant individually, and I'll be delighted to help you with that as well. So we're in a good place. I'm excited for your work, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with. As always, ask me questions. Mr. BB is ignoring me as he usually does, but let's press ahead through week 7.